So, I am Rob of Rob Brooks Realty, and this is Doug Bogan of Rob Brooks Realty. We're going to tell you about our property management program, and we cover a lot of things. Doug, why don't you tell a little bit about your role at Rob Brooks Realty, what you do in property management, just in general terms.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm Rob Brooks Realty's full-time property manager, so on a day-to-day business that means I'm in charge of things such as inspecting properties, marketing properties, showing them to prospective tenants, collecting rental funds, doing bookkeeping, and list goes on and on, but those are some of the main generic ones.
Yeah, and starting on that list of what most people see in the public when we do our property management is the advertising of the properties. When we handle the market and we handle the property and we want to get that tenant in the property. We do a lot of things with the internet, and in fact we have a special service called List Hub that we've contracted with that handles all of our property marketing to the internet. It shoots it out to all the Zillows and all the home spots or the other internet sites that we advertise on, which are hundreds. What kind of vacancy rate are we used to here at Rob Brooks Realty?
We're usually used to, I would say on average, approximately 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, so 2 weeks of vacancy. If a property becomes vacant, we have that full within 2 weeks, which is better than the industry standard. Another thing is, once we have that tenant, getting that tenant, it takes a lot of showings, but once we have that tenant, we have an extensive application process. Now, why is it so important that we review that tenant and make sure that they are the exact tenant for the property?
Well, as our motto says, a bad tenant is worse than no tenant, and
Right.
that always proves true.
Right. And public, maybe you don't know this, but if you have experienced having a bad tenant, then you'll know exactly what we're talking about. It's a great motto: a bad tenant is worse than no tenant. It's really important that this application process goes well. So describe the application process a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Well, of course, there are standard things that we have to collect. Of course, we want their full names. We want to know, see their driver's licenses to show proof of who they are, proof of income, of course, that they're making income, where they work. We'll talk to references such as employers, previous landlords, very important. And on top of that, of course, usually what you would expect is that we will pull a credit report, and we do credit report and background check. However, when we do the credit report, we do not just take like a calculated method of, their score is such and such, so that means they're okay. No, we're going to go and we're going to look at that line by line, month by month credit history to show that, okay, they're paying their bills on time, they're making their monthly payments, and we're going to take everything into consideration carefully and evaluate them and then discuss them with our clients to come to a mutual decision.
Right, because sometimes you may have somebody that maybe their credit score isn't that good. Well, that's because of the medical issue that happened in 2007. Other than that, they're perfect in paying everything on time. That makes plenty of sense. Now, you said background check. Tell me what's in the background check.
Absolutely. Well, as far as the background check, we do pull from federal and state databases, so we pay for, that's another service that we have that we maintain, is we pull a background check from federal and state databases. We also check local and county criminal records as well to make sure that what we see is that this tenant is okay, they're a good person and they're going to be responsible and take care of the property.
Criminal background check.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, so we have the tenant in there, and then there's the whole thing of money. And I say we have a tenant in there, I know that that's a whole process that you go through as far as making sure this has been done paperwork wise, making sure that they are satisfied with keys and with this works, and the utilities have been all done, because you provide a list of the utilities depending on where the property is located. But going on to the money, money comes in, and then we are to pay the owners. How have we streamlined that process to make things a little quicker so that the owner gets their money in a timely manner?
Absolutely, yeah. Standard property management procedures would have it, okay, we collect the tenant's rent check, and then we hold that money because, of course, when you deposit something into the bank, you deposit funds. It's usually not until 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 days later that you find, oh, that check did not clear, it bounced. So, of course, that would mean that the money that we transfer to our clients would be no good if the tenant's check was no good. However, what we do is we pad our account with our own funds so that we can pay our owners, our clients, on the second business day of the month so that they can get their funds ahead of time. They won't be messed up by any interruptions in a bad check or something or so forth. And then we'll handle the relations with the tenant and the issue of the bad check later on.
Great. Tell me, what does ACH mean to these owners?
ACH is a secure method. It's direct deposit also is another common term. So what we will do is we pay for a service out of our pocket that will allow your funds to be transferred immediately and electronically to you.
Great. Now, we're probably, and maybe what we're known for and what most of the owners come to us for is because we take very good care in inspections. They want to know that their property is going to be well taken care of. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what inspections we do?
Absolutely. Well, first off, most importantly, is the inspections in the move-in, move-out time frame. So what we have is our move-in, move-out condition checklist. We're going to go through the house, and I would say we do a pretty thorough job analysis.
Yeah, thorough. We've had a lot of comments from both owners and tenants. This is thorough.
But we go through, we check, and we go through every room of the house. We mark the conditions. So if there's 3 more nail holes in that wall than there was before, we're going to know about it. So when a tenant moves in, before they do, we're going to write a condition checklist of what the property looked like. And when they move out, we're going to take our condition checklist from when they came in, and we're going to compare it with the one we're making when they vacate the property. And there better not be too many differences between those 2 checklists.
Right, or else the security deposit is now in question. And everybody knows it, both tenant and owner know. We have an issue with security deposit because it has not been left in the same condition that it was before. Okay, so then there's ongoing inspections that you do with the property as well. Tell me about those inspections.
Sure, absolutely. Well, one thing we pride ourselves very much on is that we do monthly drive-by examinations. So every month we are going by the property and we are taking a look at it, and you can tell a lot about the way a tenant takes care of a property just by looking at the outside.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. On top of that, furthermore, we do midterm inspections where we'll, of course, notify the tenant, and we will go inside the house and do a thorough examination to make sure everything is in order, that they're taking care of the place. And in those inspections, those midterm inspections, we will both check inside and outside the house.
Right, and especially the AC filter. A lot of people don't realize that the AC filter has got to be replaced on a regular basis, and we want to know, is the tenant replacing that AC filter on a regular basis? So that's
Absolutely.
one of the things you're
Absolutely.
checking for.
One of the main things.
Yeah. Now, if there's a problem, tenant calls after hours or during hours and they say, there's a leak with the faucet or whatever. Tell me about the process, or what is our responsibilities as Rock Brooks Realty at that point?
Right, and usually that subject falls under tenant relations, and that is way too short a term for that part of the process. But absolutely, so we're on call, every day of the week. So somebody calls us, the tenant has an issue. Sometimes it's just questions, sometimes it's problems, something is broken. We're going to handle that appropriately. So we're on call. We do this every day. We're used to knowing, okay, this is the tenant's responsibility or this is the landlord's responsibility. And we're going to work through with that tenant and be that careful middleman that kind of puts that nice little divider wall between you and them that allows us to appropriately handle the situation that's best for the client.
Right. We have a list of maintenance people that we have interviewed and that we have done personal business with and found out, okay, these are good people, honest, they charge a fair price. And those are the main things that we look for in any vendor that we have. So the call is done, and then you have the vendor out there, they take care of things, and tell me about the follow-up after that.
Sure, absolutely. So depending on the situation, and when you manage many properties, you see the same situations, tend to see them over and over again, so you have a good feeling for being able to handle it appropriately so that we get the right repair person there at the right time. And so yeah, after the property is repaired with a trusted vendor that we're accustomed with and we know how they work, We check up with that vendor, we check up with the property and the tenant, and make sure that everything is running smoothly, that your property is safe, and depending on the situation, we handle it appropriately.
Right. So these are a lot of the things that we take care of in the property management. We are a growing property management agency. We grow in the amount of properties we take care of at about 40% a year. We get a lot of referrals, and generally that's how all of our business has come in. People are satisfied with how we manage the properties, and they tell their friends about how we do our work. I'm Rob of Rob Brooks Realty, and this is Doug, and we'd like to hear from you if you have any questions about the property management process. Thank you.